Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hey there, onesies. It's the show that never ends in our mind. It goes on and on.
I just feel like I'm here all the time.
Yeah, you are. It's the AOO show right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5. Also available streaming on irlonestar.com and wherever you get your podcasts from. I am Andrew, and I'm sitting next to the man who will only use the restroom indoors when 2 or more people are present. Little Dicky Doo.
It's true.
Richard Chislart.
What's up, man?
What's going on?
Nothing. It's hot.
It's hot in here. Like I walk in the studio, I'm like, what's ooh, steamy.
I think it's almost every building I've been to that's on a regular basis between the last 2 weeks has had issues with their AC.
It's that time of year, man.
Yeah. And so the city of Conroe is having issues with their AC. You want me to help you? There's a little nut right there.
I know. I've been doing the show. Yeah, I know. I've already tightened it.
There you go.
I'm grabbing the microphone nut.
And you
there
might
we go.
want to
Tighten it up.
Give
there we go.
yourself some slack out of the hole.
Well, yeah, now we're good. No, it's tightened up now.
Okay.
For those of you who can't see or not watching, my microphone
I'm
kept
watching
moving.
him, and
It kept moving over to the side. Every time I go to talk to it, it was angling over to the right.
I love how you looked at it, too.
Yeah, I was giving it a stern look.
You were looking at it as if it was alive.
Yeah,
You're like,
kind of pointing at
now,
it.
sir.
Kind of warming up the back of my palm, about to smack it.
But yeah,
Doesn't behave.
we're on the tail end of June, man. About to go into the 4th
when
of July.
When this show airs, it will be July. So no more June talk. Let's talk about July. What'd you do for the 4th of July?
Now, see,
that hasn't happened
that's
yet.
one thing I love about people who have shows on Lone Star Community. They try to play this mind game where, like, we can't let them know we record.
Yeah, we don't care.
And I'm like, no, who cares?
Yeah,
who
I know.
cares? But yeah, we're here every Wednesday.
Yes, literally
The show
every Wednesday.
is
Yes,
at
10 a.m.
Depending if I set it up right. That happens sometimes.
AM, PM. It's so difficult.
There's so many shows. But
There's
yeah.
only one AOO show, though.
Yeah, there's a lot. You know,
Maybe a lot on this radio
I wanted
station,
to
but there's
ask
really
you
only
this.
one that really matters.
For our worldwide listeners, we're located primarily in the Montgomery County area in Texas. You can look up Montgomery County. And one thing I love about Montgomery County, it's so diverse and so big. When the 4th of July rolls out, it's like everyone's competing to one another city-wise. Like, who's got the biggest fireworks? And it really is a competition to some people because through the studio, I've had, I want to say 3 groups so far. We've had the Woodlands crew, which they don't even call it the Woodlands. They try to keep it, they call it South County. That's how competitive they are.
They don't want to have the word Montgomery County in there, so it's just South County or South Montgomery County.
Well, this is I asked the guy. I was like, "Is everything you're telling me is in the Woodlands? So is this just the Woodlands fireworks? Because Conroe's having their own fireworks, Montgomery's having their own fireworks. Even the lake, I think, is having their own fireworks in Lake Conroe.
Nice.
And I know Willis is doing something, and then we have East County." So, but when they were saying, "Yeah, we're South County," and I was like, "What?
You mean the Woodlands?"
I mean the Woodlands, right?" Like,
so it's I noticed something as I mentioned last week. I had a road trip into Florida, and I noticed something. I guess it was more in the Panhandle, Florida, maybe in the Mississippi area, where they had massive, like grocery store size, brick and mortar fireworks stands.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow. I mean, normally the ones around here, they're just like the little mobile stations that pop
got a
up,
couple.
you know,
I think there's
and
a
they sit
couple.
vacant throughout the year on
Yeah.
the side of the road. But these look like year-round establishments,
people buy
man. It's like Big
fireworks, man.
Dan's fireworks station or
yeah,
something
people
like
buy
that.
fireworks. But yeah, I like that about Montgomery County. Is I mean, everyone's got their own fire. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I am not a firework person. Like, I like setting off fireworks.
Ever since the incident?
No, it's more of like going to fireworks. Like, to me, it's really not that cool. But like, I like setting off fireworks.
That's what I meant.
I'll go blow $100, $200. And
Are you the guy that fires off like
No,
the
I'm
stuff
the guy,
from your hand?
I'm the guy who smokes a cigar, walks down the street to the fire stand, fireworks stand. The guy's like
with it lit?
with it lit, and he's like, "Hey, man, can you put that out?" I'm like, "Put what out?" "Oh, a cigar."
Yeah, my
We're at
bad.
a fireworks stand. Sorry, man. I do it all the time when I go to Galveston.
Yeah, I bet you fire off Roman candles from various ports of from your body, don't you?
We try.
Yeah.
No, I don't. We have safety first. That's a real tragedy that when people
wear
get hurt.
gloves.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
But a normal fireworks show though, it is really not that big of a deal. I mean, mainly because you're setting up. I feel like the time to set up, park, all that kind of stuff is longer than the actual event itself.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's just not really that cool.
I remember a story. Speaking of firing off fireworks yourself, this was years ago.
You don't have a left testy.
Well, I luckily I was able to keep both of them intact because, yeah, it could have been bad. I was sitting in a is it Chase Lounge or Chaise Lounge?
I don't know.
You know, one of those chairs that's kind of got the straps, so part of your body's
it's all
exposed.
French to me.
Right. And we were doing fireworks. Well, I wasn't. I was observing, and somebody was firing off some bottle rockets, multiple from a Coke can or a bottle, probably a beer bottle, I don't know. And it fell over, tumped over, and those things shot straight at me, went underneath my Chaise Lounge, and were bouncing kind of like up and down and about to blow up underneath my rear, and that scared the you-know-what. But it can be dangerous. Wasn't there a football player years ago, Pierre Paul or something, I think was his last name, blew off like 2 of his fingers from some firework incident he was holding in his hand. He played, I think he might still be playing, but he has a huge mitt that he has to play around his hand now because his fingers, the last 2 aren't, don't look it up. It's pretty gruesome.
Be careful with fireworks and do not buy fireworks in illegal areas and do not set them off because you can get in big trouble.
Yeah, and not supposed to set them off in the city limits, although
I think Conroe's off limits, I think. But yeah, happy 4th, man. It's going to be hot.
Happy 4th of July.
And I know I'm excited. I'm going to be doing the bowling tournament at 300. They kind of made me work it. Mm-hmm. And I love how when they talk to me, they're like, Dick, what are you doing on the 4th? I'm like, it's 4th of July, man. Hot dogs, doing it.
Right.
Well, we have a bowling tournament at 11 o'clock. I can't get 3 guys. No, we don't. You don't need to get a team. We need you to be there. We need your help.
Yeah, we're not asking you to come have fun. We're actually asking you to work.
Yeah. So.
Isn't the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July?
I hope so.
Yeah, so I think we'll talk about that on our next show after it happens. I hate that thing. But
I was all in. I was all in it until I started letting people soak their buns.
Yeah, they put it in water.
And that's gross.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's a champion right there. He's dedicated. Because it's like.
I don't know that they were. They never didn't allow it. I think it was Kobayashi that started that trend, and it wasn't against the rules, and he was destroying everybody, and noticed that, that's a technique that helps water the buns down, and you can eat more.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was ever against the rules.
I don't think
just
he
no
even
one ever
choose it.
no one just had ever thought of it before, though.
Yeah, but saying that, I wouldn't have allowed it. I was like, that's not the true eating the hot dog. That's not.
But no one ever thought, we can't water your buns before you eat them.
So gross.
Yeah. Anyways. Well, I had a thought the other day. Early on in the show, I had several shower thoughts.
This show?
Yeah.
Like today?
No. The entirety of this show.
Okay.
I had shower thoughts, and they weren't necessarily what you would assume they were about thoughts you would have in the shower, but thoughts about showers as I would travel. Well, I had this thought the other day. It was a changing room thought.
Are we starting the show?
All right, zip up onesies.
Yeah. You gotta let me know. You gotta let me know. We're crossing.
Yeah.
We're crossing.
I'm losing my mind.
Okay, now we're starting the show.
Oh, you're so funny.
So this is when we talk about random stuff,
this
right?
This is your new bit. Yeah, musings.
And if you got a random bit for us, let us know. audienceofoneshow@gmail.com.
You are a rare breed, sir.
What? I just like to interrupt you so you can lose your thought. So
I don't even know if I remember.
Shower thought in a changing room.
Yeah, so a changing room. And when I say changing
Who
room,
uses a changing room?
I mean,
you don't do it right there.
Well, okay. So
Academy won't let me back in.
Right, ever since COVID, right?
Yeah.
No, the changing rooms are closed. All right, drop and trowel right here. But that brings me to my point: is changing stores or changing rooms in a store, are they considered public domain or private domain? Because if you were in the store,
I still don't understand your question.
So if you were in the store walking around, let's say that it is Academy for crying out loud.
You're like expected privacy. So like if you're in the toilet,
there is a certain expectation of privacy in a changing room. But hold on. So you're in the store. If you were to remove your clothing in the store, you're probably going to be arrested, or you're going to be cited, or something. You're going to get removed from the store. But if you were to be inside that same store, but in a changing room, it's okay. Right?
Yeah,
no
one wants to see you naked.
Right, no, of course. So that got me thinking, is a changing room considered private? And if it is, what all can you do in a changing room?
I don't like the shower thought at all.
Is this making you uncomfortable?
No, it's just like why give people an excuse to go in there and do stuff?
I'm not giving anybody an excuse. I'm just wondering, like, because it is private and there is the expectation of privacy, what's off limits? These are things I need to know.
I have been to a changing room where the girl couldn't go in with me.
The girl could not.
Yeah, they would not let
They would
the
not
girl
let
I was
her.
with go in there with me, and she was just trying to help me find stuff.
Yeah, button your button. Zip up your dress in the back. Right.
Well, okay. The thing I asked the lady, I go, "Ma'am, like
What do you think's going to happen?
Well,
here?
no, I was like, I understood. Like they don't want any tomfoolery in there.
Sure.
But I go, you can time us. Like I'm literally just trying.
I'm really quick, I promise.
Well, no, it's just kind of like you'll kind of know if something's happening in there after a while, and it's just like I just want to get her opinion on some of the stuff, and I don't want to come out every single time. And that was the last time I ever did that.
Yeah.
Like I worried about clothes.
Well, yeah, but you bring up an interesting point. Could you, in theory, have an act of appreciation on another person while you were in there, or even on yourself?
I'd be more worried about
don't
someone
know.
buying underwear and like imagine going to the changing room person like, oh, I got 17 items. It's all underwear.
Gross.
Can you? I mean, that's.
I
real
guess
right
so.
there.
Yeah, I want to
But,
make sure each one of these.
Well, they do it
fits.
with bathing suits. That's what kind of
Right.
weird. That's what weirded me out at Academy because I was looking for a bathing suit and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna try this on. I'm just gonna buy
Yeah.
one I think it's gonna work.
Yeah, we're just
And
gonna wing
wash
it.
it first.
Right. But it's
And then-
but it is kind of interesting, right? Maybe it's something you can ask on that on a legal show of some sort.
I wouldn't worry about it, like, because.
So just anything goes. It's in private, man.
Well, no, because there's. I mean, when's the last time you were in a changing room?
Well, just this past weekend
What were
on
you
vacation. Shirts, man. I was trying on shirts. Yeah, I wanted to make sure a shirt fit.
You don't know your size?
Yeah, but when you're talking about T-shirts, man, they range. They're you know what I mean. They're not the same.
I mean,
There's no uniformity across them. So I want to try it on. And then when I'm in there, I thought,
I'm not a fashionable pro. I don't buy a lot of
what all
clothes.
I can do in here. I'm not either. You're not fashionable. You could have fooled me.
Yeah, I know. I'm still wearing the same clothes from high school. So
Just don't wash them.
I think
if you don't wash them, they don't fade.
the only kind of clothes I buy are socks.
Oh, I do love a new pair of socks, though.
So
Those are some of my most favorite new clothing items are socks, fresh socks, because they're always so fluffy and full of life before your
guess.
foot gets in there and destroys them.
yeah.
New socks are
Well, I
pretty
think
nice, man.
and that's one thing
Anything
I realized.
that goes on my feet,
So-
shoes.
Like even like when I spend time with my friends, like, oh, you haven't changed a bit. You were literally wearing the same clothes. And I'm like, yeah, I guess with the radio station, I really can wear whatever I want. And
Why do you think this is the same shirt I wore in high school? Just because it says class of 2002 on it.
no, I don't. I don't have the shirts like that. But like shirts like this and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's 10 years old, whatever.
I bought it from the county seat. What's up?
I think I stole this shirt.
I wouldn't down
Like
it.
lost and found it kind of thing. I've used to be doing that a lot.
Stealing clothes?
Well,
or
like
going to the.
when I'm working at a place and they have a lost and found, I'm like, oh, I like that. If it's there for a month, I'm taking it.
Sure. Well, I think there is some sort of
So
unwritten rule about items left behind and
Yeah.
unclaimed after X number of days do become part of the public domain. In that case, it means it belongs to Dick.
what do you think they do with all those clothes you change? Do you think they wash that stuff?
No, of course not. They hang them back up
Yeah.
because they're not technically. They've never left the store, so I think in their mind. Now
That's
it's not
gross,
like
especially in this heat. Like imagine going around.
I have experienced that before. Going in to try something on, I go to put it on, I catch a massive whiff of BO from the shirt, and I'm like, whoa, nope, not doing that. You've never experienced that before?
Well, again,
The BO
I'd
shirt
never,
in the changing room?
When I buy clothes, I'm like, I'm a medium.
So you're just.
You
don't
should have
even
seen the shock I had on my face when I found I'm not a medium.
See, you didn't try it.
I didn't try it on. I was like, well, I guess I'm a large
Guess
now.
I'm a large
And
now.
then
See, I'm not the same guy as I was in high school.
So I'm still a medium though, but I actually feel more comfortable in larges now.
There you go. That's right. You identify
I
as
think,
a medium.
Well, I don't honestly think it's because the clothes shrank.
Absolutely, they did.
Because
They make
the
clothes
pair
smaller
of jeans
these
that's 20
days.
years old is a lot.
It probably is smaller than the day you bought it, no
Yeah.
doubt.
So there's just little snug areas. I'm like, oh, that's right. This shirt's really old. Whatever.
Oh man. Well, that was my changing room thought, and like I said, I'm gonna have to go look up the laws. That way, I know
I don't
what
know,
I
man.
can and
Changing
can't do. in a
rooms, I
changing
guess
room.
in a way they make me feel uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Especially the ones that are uncomfortably
Like
high.
I would feel more comfortable changing out there with in front of people than changing it into a small room because I feel like I'm being timed. Like, I gotta get this on. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know that I'd feel more comfortable changing my clothes out in the middle of the store, but I am uncomfortable with the ones, and this also goes for the restroom, when the doors are too dang high. Like, I've walked into a bathroom
yeah,
before
where
and
it
the
shows
stall
your
doors.
knees?
Yes, and I'm like, I could see the dude's knees. Like, what's
so you can see his nuts.
What's in theory I could.
Nice
It's
nuts.
like what's the point of having a door at all, really? Just and that's so bad.
I've been
But
a
those
place,
are those are really
I've been to a place
uncomfortable.
where there's not even a door.
I have as well.
Yeah.
And that's really awkward.
That's great.
And it's something.
Well, it made me think: is that even legal?
I mean, something we need to find. Something I need to know.
Because I remember back in the day,
Is
like
it-
like
What are
especially.
you gonna- who's at fault? Is it the store owner or the guy using
do-
it?
no-
Because if you walk in, you point at him as he's looking at you.
Well, don't you?
That's illegal.
Well, don't you remember?
That's
like,
illegal.
You weren't here because you're a Rangers fan. The Astrodome used to have like the cow trough
go Rangers.
pissers.
Well, that
And so
has nothing to do with.
Well,
I've-
no, 'cause, like-
I've been to Minute Maid Park or whatever you guys are
Do
calling
they
it
have?
these
Do
days.
they have the cow trough?
I'm sure they do. All big stadiums have cow troughs, man. You
So-
put ice in there too.
Well, yeah, but like I remember that being a norm. Where like, oh, you see a bunch of dudes shoulder to shoulder, all right. There's no dividers. Just like
Nope.
everyone's peeing.
No, well,
And when
it's just the way it is. I don't know why we decided that was appropriate, but
but
long
they don't
ago.
have that. I don't have that today. I feel like.
Oh, I see it all the time.
Okay, go.
It was in NRG. I was just at NRG
Ah.
for a concert last month, and that's the way it is there. It's just not cool. Speaking of big stadiums, you brought this up last week
Oh, I did.
about the was it Brazil? In
Yeah,
Brazil?
it's the Mecca.
Okay.
It's called the Macacacacca Stadium. Macacacacca. Yeah, no. So you wrote, you were texting, you were saying stuff, and like you didn't believe me because you couldn't find it. So you're probably writing the wrong. You have to use like what newspaper terms people use. They don't say PP. Okay.
I
so
used the word urine.
urine is the correct way
So
to go.
I looked for the story that you talked about last week, when you said that people were urinating in this Brazilian soccer stadiums to the point where it destroyed it, and they had to condemn the building, or they couldn't use it.
They had
for-
to upgrade it.
And I couldn't find any story. The only story I found, it looked like it was from the year 2000,
Yeah.
and it required a subscription. So all I was able to read was like the first paragraph. But the thing is, you're right. It did occur. So this is something that happened. But what I did find when I was looking for this story was apparently back in 2014, there was a man who was killed by a toilet bowl when it was thrown from a soccer stadium in Brazil.
It's pretty cool.
Oh my God.
So I just found a bunch of, look at this. I found 3 articles right there.
Well, I found a bunch of articles about urine and stadium, but not specific to the one you were talking about.
So look at that. Found one right now.
But yeah, apparently there were lunatic
been
fans
corroded by-
that went into this stadium and yanked out the toilet seats, or not seats, the whole toilet, and then were throwing them. And of course, one came down and crushed somebody and killed him in 2014. Good God. Soccer fans, man. They are nuts.
I like it.
And again, staying on this theme of big coliseums and whatever, did you hear about this man who carved his girlfriend's name into the
The
Colosseum?
actual Coliseum.
The actual Colosseum in Rome.
I mean,
What an idiot. So, of course, he puts it on social, and the Italian police see this, and now they're searching for this guy because he's carving out his name or his girlfriend's name on the freaking Colosseum in Rome.
I would do it. Live forever, baby.
Yeah, well, he is facing, if caught, he's unknown at this point, but if he's caught, I forget what he's facing.
He's just never allowed back into Rome.
No. He's facing $16,000 fine or 5 years in prison. Think that girl's gonna be waiting for him when he gets out?
That gets me thinking.
Maybe
because
I'm
I
thinking
imagine,
about
I imagine because the history of Italy and all that cool stuff. There's a lot of old stuff there.
Yeah.
So $16,000 is their value for putting your name on the Coliseum.
It is kind of interesting how they assigned a value to that.
But it makes me think though. It's like, what do we do? Do we fix it? Well, you can't fix the Coliseum. It's such a classic. Like, do
Yeah. How do you? Yeah.
we?
How
Do
do
you
you
just
fix it?
erase his name and make it even worse,
Her name?
or her name?
He wasn't like Ivan was here, and he was putting his girlfriend's name.
Yeah, well,
They
you
didn't say her name. I'd like to know though.
You know what I'm talking about? Those,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no,
'cause
I
they
get
can they want to erase it probably so people don't feel they need to do it too, because they can't keep that up there. People would do that all day if they kept it up there. the chain reaction of
Oh
it.
yeah, it's been tried before.
So
too,
it's like,
apparently.
all right, so but over time, it's going to like ruin the Coliseum.
It's the
because-
broken window theory, right? If somebody goes by and sees a broken window in a building, they assume that the building isn't maintained and upkept, and it encourages people to continue to do
What's wrong
vandalism
with-
on
yeah,
it.
I
So,
like to break stuff.
you're right. If somebody sees a bunch of names carved into a building, even if it is the Coliseum, they think, oh, this is okay to do. It's kind of like when you go into one of those restaurants and everybody's written their name all over the wall or whatever. But I like this. It says, it is considered a very serious, unworthy, and is a sign of great incivility that a tourist defaces one of the most famous places in the world, the Colosseum, to engrave the name of his girlfriend. Just love how serious they get about it. But yeah, this dude's in trouble. He's on the run. They blurred his face out in this picture that I have. I'm not entirely sure why, but well.
Yeah, they're really looking for him.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, if you really want him known, wouldn't you unblur his face?
But yeah, it makes the trip worth it.
Yeah, that's the question. Was it worth it? Yeah.
I don't know, but there's people destroying art. It's just art. Who cares?
Yeah, well, remember we had a story about the guy who ripped off the thumb of one of the ancient Chinese statues, and that guy was
kept
facing
it, and he kept it.
Yes, in his nightstand drawer too, which is very awkward. What else are you gonna do with it? I guess you could be driving down the road and just throw it out the window like normal people
Put it on
would do.
Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
I got a thumb.
What's the market value for something like that? 99999. That's what you put, and then hopefully you get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a world I don't really care to be a part of.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Like I feel like if I went to the Coliseum and I saw it, I'd be like, oh, cool.
I mean, yeah, I want to see it. I don't know that I'd have an impulse to carve anything on it, though. I think just intrinsically, even if there wasn't any signs that said, don't do this, I just know not to. Right?
Well, there's certain things that are really weird to me about that kind of stuff. Because it's like, all right, this was here for a long time. And they did a lot of stuff in it.
They did.
And it's like, cool. But I can't touch it.
No.
Can't really.
Well, it's kind of like the Mona Lisa.
You can't see the whole thing. You
I
can
know.
just, I mean,
you could see it, but you can't go up there and touch it. Same thing.
well, I mean, how complicated the Coliseum is.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. It's like a building you'd have to walk through
Yeah.
and not touch
Yeah,
the
it's
walls.
weird.
Or do they even allow people to go inside of it? Is it just to go to the outside?
don't
No,
know.
I don't know. I'm sure.
Well,
you
my
can go inside.
mom, for example, she was over somewhere in Europe, and she was talking about there was some thing with the Catholic Church, and they have a thing where every 7 or 8 years they open up these boxes or something.
Uh-huh.
And one of them was claimed to be the cloth that was wrapped around Jesus as a baby. And this is this isn't just like a sideshow. This is like a real.
Okay.
This is like a real Catholic Church thing, and they do this thing where they bless
All right.
scarves, and it's weird. And I was like, I don't know if I'd be impressed with that. It's
I mean,
you know what I'm talking about? Because she's like, oh, it's such a special event. Like they do this every 7 years or 8 years, and it's like there's different boxes they bring out, and so it's not you don't know what it's gonna be. And then I'm like, so it's like a game to them, and then
yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It probably just looks like an old torn up blanket. You know, you're like,
like yeah.
you could have told me anything, really. This was what was used at the barbecue, a few years ago for my cousin. I would have been like, that's cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
like-
could make up anything.
Dang.
No. So you're not into artifacts. That's fine.
Yeah, if you've got like the gun that killed Hitler, that'd be pretty crazy.
But again, could be anything.
yeah,
You could have
cool.
Made that up. Well, this is really interesting story. I don't know if you heard about this. This happened here in Texas, in San Antonio, just the other day, where one of the when you're flying. I know you've only flown a few times, but when you land in a jet, you have the guys with the little orange things.
There's
and
a
they're
lot
waving.
of stuff going on.
Yeah,
at
there's a lot of
airports.
stuff going on, and they're guiding the plane in. It's super loud, so they have headphones that look
Yeah.
a lot like what we have on. Well, apparently this was at a Delta airline or Delta flight in San Antonio last week, got sucked into one of the engines.
I'm surprised it doesn't happen a lot.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking. Man, this doesn't happen more often. Couple of weird notes about this, though. One of the engines apparently had gone out on this flight. Now, these jets are designed, they can fly with just one jet. I don't want to know if I've ever been on a flight, by the way, and that has happened. Just leave me ignorant. I don't want to know that. So, interesting, one engine was going. So, you can say, man, what a stroke of bad luck. Except for the fact this man jumped in voluntarily. This was an apparent suicide.
Okay, that's the way to go right there.
Oh my God.
And you know what's great about that is this guy commits suicide, and there's the first person on the flight is waiting to say, how long is this going to take?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm right. Oh, sorry. We have to
What's
sit
the
here on the
delay
tar.
here?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I've got a flight to catch. Real sorry about your luck over there, dude, but I really have a connecting flight I need to make. Yeah. But now, can you imagine being the person on the flight and seeing that? Oh, that's got to be nasty. Some guy just jumps right into that.
Yeah.
There's got to be better ways to go.
I mean, I imagine, he was just over it, and he was probably just thinking about it and just walked. He was like, oh, that looks easy.
Yeah, the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office said that David Renner, 27, died of blunt and sharp force injuries.
I think
You
the other
think?
day.
You think?
The other day, someone jumped at the Grand Canyon. Wherever that point was with, like, that bar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
He
yeah. He just went, no, this bar ain't stopping me.
Yeah, and they didn't.
Hold my beer.
What was weird, though, when I was reading is they didn't pronounce him dead until they got him back up.
Well, I mean, I guess technically you have to get down there and someone has to check
It's
a
just
pulse.
funny. It was just, it was like the way they worded it, though. It's like, oh, he wasn't pronounced dead until they got him back to the surface or whatever they called it, like the elevation period. I was like, well, I'm pretty sure he fell like a long way.
Long way. Oof, that's nasty.
I would have just left him.
Yeah, it could have been part of the attraction. That's not. I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often.
It probably does.
They just
To
don't.
be honest.
Yeah, it's probably not a selling point
Yeah.
for it, so they don't
Well,
advertise
isn't that like
it.
a thing about the Golden Gate Bridge, where like a lot of people
Oh
commit
yeah, that's
suicides,
yeah, absolutely,
and
absolutely.
they ban certain
that reminds
things? There's like a documentary about like people leaving cameras out
Yeah,
and just catching people commit suicide.
yeah, I have heard that is a popular place because the water there is just, first of all, it's insanely high up, so you're going to die from the impact. And if by chance you survive, the water's so choppy and cold, and yeah, you don't have a chance. That reminds me, I did see something a few weeks back about the Golden Gate Bridge that I was not aware of. In 1987, they had some, I think it was 87.
It
they
was
had
silver.
No.
Okay.
They allowed people to come, they closed down the bridge for automobile traffic, and they allowed people to walk onto the bridge.
They really got to get across.
And, no, they were coming out for some sort of celebration. I wish I had more details. It was like
Like a pride
It was like the
thing?
50th anniversary or 80th anniversary of the bridge, and so they were letting people to come out and walk on it. Well, what they didn't realize is how popular this event started to become, and more and more and more people started packing this thing. You can look it up and show the picture. It's terrifying that over the course of the day, it just started packing in. Of course, the people that were there in the middle could not get out. Picture shoulder to shoulder, front to back, just solid people on
It's
this
like a
bridge.
Fish concert.
It starts, yeah, right. It starts to get so packed, the bridge sinks 20 feet from all of the pressure. Now, can you imagine if that thing had collapsed? The amount of death. I mean, I don't know. There was tens of thousands of people on this thing. Would have been catastrophic. And the designer of this bridge, I think, had a suspension bridge that he had built in another country collapse earlier in his career. So, anyways, I didn't know about it. Look it up. It's the 1987 bridge crossing.
So you want me, you're,
No, I'm saying the
that's like
onesies.
fourth
The
time you
onesies can
told
look
me.
it up. It just it's crazy frightening how much that bridge like actually sunk due to the weight and how catastrophic it could have become. So, anyways. Now you gotta look it up. You should have looked it up like 30 seconds ago, a minute ago. But
All right,
no.
keep moving on.
Yeah. All right. So have you ever? We were talking about the heat earlier. Yeah.
Move on.
More heavy talk. All right. Last story before the break here. Have you ever been in your It's so stupid.
I love it.
In your car, you got into your car on
You
a
ever
hot
been in
day.
your car?
Yeah, man, you ever got into a car one day? It was really cool.
That's a great opening. I love this last story for before the break.
No, man. Like, you ever gotten into your car and you've left a water bottle in there, and you look in and the
I left a
sucker's like,
hot pocket.
and the, yes, well, we know that, and the water bottle's like collapsed, like it just like it implodes like
I don't know.
like a submarine down at 12,000 feet, like an Ocean Gate
Yeah,
submarine.
like a skull.
Yeah, you never seen that before?
Yeah, no.
Wow. Okay, so this has happened to me several times where I'll get in and I'll go reach over to grab a drink of water. I'm like, what the heck happened to my water bottle? And just it'll be crushed. And I just was wondering if you've ever had that happen to you before.
No, sorry.
Okay.
I've had like soda pop do it, like
Okay,
cans of
Oh, cans.
like the heat blew it up.
Oh, okay. Was that like a closed can of soda?
Yeah.
Yeah. The important part is it has to be closed. But I guess if the soda hadn't been opened, and I don't know. I've never had a can explode before. I don't know if this is the same. Well, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I wondered why. And it happens, it says, because the air on the outside of the bottle has a lower concentration of water molecules than on the inside. And as more and more of the water molecules escape from the bottle, they create a vacuum inside, and it pulls the vacuum, causing it to collapse inward. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty fascinating, because I've often wondered. Made no sense, but that bottle does have some permeability to it, and that's what causes it to collapse. So when you're in your hot car and you look down, you'll know why now. Which, by the way, it's not actually safe to drink hot water in your car, too, from like a regular bottle, which I've
Does
done.
your body go through something? Or what happens?
Well, I've done it countless times, too, where I get in the car and I'm hot after a round of golf, especially after a round of golf. Car's been sitting there for 5 hours or
Oh,
whatever.
it probably hurts your heart or something.
No. It's not the actual.
Dang it, I was trying.
It's not the actual heat of the water. It's it's the plastic. It's the stuff that oozes out of the plastic when the water gets warm and the bottle itself gets warm, and then you're over there slugging it back.
So you're saying that any bottle that gets hot in a car, you shouldn't drink?
Not like a reusable bottle, but the one like the plastic bottles that you get, the 24-pack or the 36
so
pack.
if it's in the car over a day,
No,
I'm killing
it
people.
Said the experts say they are warning against doing this consistently.
Sounds like they don't really have an answer. It's just like it's gonna happen eventually. We don't know really when, but if you keep water in your car, it might kill you.
It's something about BPA has been linked to causing
Yeah, I believe
reproductive
it.
immunity and neurological problems. That's what's wrong with me. But yeah, apparently these chemicals leak into the water when they get warm. And obviously it's going to happen during the summer if you leave your water bottle in the truck after a round of golf.
Okay.
Yeah, man. All right, let's go to the break, because I got to load up a bunch more stories because craziness continues. We'll be back.
Audience
of one. Dick, I think we need to talk about something that's really important.
Is this an intervention?
No, that's next. No, I think we need to talk about sponsoring and donating to the show. It's something that I feel very close to, and I think it's good for you.
I think it's important that we tell our listeners that they can donate and sponsor.
Very, very true. Do you like dog food?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's good, because without those sponsorships and donations, dog food may be what you're eating.
Okay.
Don't let Dick eat dog food. Like, follow, subscribe, donate today.
Audience of
one.
Audience of one. Show.
At gmail.com.
Yeah. Halfway done with today's show. That means you can unzip onesies and get comfortable.
Zip it a little lower.
So now we're
Go into
we're back.
Go into your changing room. You can do whatever you want.
Audience of one every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. podcast, YouTube, Lone Star Community Radio, here in Montgomery County, recording live from the LSCR studios in City Hall.
Conroe Tower.
And we're still without AC, or it feels like it. And I've gotten so used to wherever the studio was during the summer, it gets so hot with all the equipment that it doesn't bother me anymore. It's like when I get home and I'm like, oh, my back is really sweaty. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
But I didn't even notice while I was here.
Oh, because you've gotten that used to it.
That easily, when you change, transition temperature wise, you're like,
yeah. Tell us about when you transition. Temperature wise.
Yeah, when you go to you're hot and you go into a cold room, you're like, oh man, I was really hot.
Yeah. I was told that when I moved into this area years ago, eventually you just get used to the humidity. It's so humid down there in Houston, but you get used to it.
I'm used to it.
I'm here to report you don't get used to it, folks. Now you do. You get used to it a little bit. It was fairly shocking when I moved into this area, but it's not like I moved from a spot that didn't have humidity. It just wasn't this bad all the time. But it makes my skin look wonderful, though. I don't have to use moisturizer.
I guess.
Hey, last week we were talking about Reddit, or a few weeks ago, I guess it was, and how you are a huge Reddit fan, had a Reddit account for 12 years now. Reddit appreciates your patronage, I'm sure.
I mean, I just like looking up weird stuff. And I got tired of 4chan.
They were tracking a little too close.
Well, no, it got too dangerous, man. I was like, I feel like I'm on a
They're on me. They're on me.
I'm on a list when I go on there.
Yeah, it's anonymous, but not that anonymous.
It's funny. It's like I never really posted to Reddit. Wasn't really.
Oh, you were a creeper.
Yeah, I never. The only time I ever really posted is when certain forums were talking about like PC sales, like parts.
Right, to build your own machine.
Yeah, or something like that. I post, hey, I found this. I was at Micro Center, and that's when I found out the whole world doesn't have a Micro Center. We're pretty lucky to have one. I didn't realize that. So I was
People
like,
don't realize that Dick built that entire machine behind him, everything in front of him. He built all of this himself. It's pretty amazing.
well, Micro Center's pretty tight. So have you ever been to Micro Center?
No, I haven't.
You ever been to you've been to Fry's?
I've been to Radio Shack.
Well, it's a bigger Radio Shack basically. Fry's is actually
R.I.P.
pretty cool,
Radio
too.
Shack, by the way.
But yeah, Micro Center's more. They just have everything electronic, and it's just but like parts too. So
Sure,
if you need
as Radio Shack did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could build stuff in Radio Shack, RC cars, and anything you really wanted. It's kind of cool. I miss Radio Shack. Oh, cool.
Too bad some guy stole all the money or something. Or
Oh, you know what? We're going to have to look that up. I don't
they had
actually
a stock.
remember.
They probably were in the stock market, like we're going to talk about here about GameStop.
So okay, yeah, we'll talk Radio Shack later. So it got me to thinking about a story that occurred a couple of years ago, and I remember this pretty vividly. This was a Reddit-born story, and this was the GameStop stock story. This is hard to say. GameStop.
Well, they're making a movie
stock.
of it. While you're talking, I'm
And this was when a group of Reddit users got together and decided to drive up the price of GameStop in order to hurt people who were selling short on the company. And so I guess these were probably video game guys. I'm guessing.
No, actually, I think it would. Honestly, what I think it started was when you make trades, I think it's public, and they noticed that a lot of these hedge funds are shortening.
Yeah, somebody did, but I'm saying they were game fans themselves, though. I think.
I don't think they got it because of GameStop.
No, okay.
I think they
happened to be
I think they
GameStop.
saw like,
Okay.
oh, hey, look, they're shorting this stock, and there's no value in GameStop.
Yeah, right.
There's not like an actual value to it
see if it
because
says
it's a
what
brick and mortar store. So they're like, oh, let's choose GameStop to be our stock.
I wish that the values of the stock were in this article, but I don't see it. But yeah, I mean, the shares were like $1 or $2, right?
Yeah.
Basically. And all of these guys on Reddit got together and said, let's start buying stock in GameStop, correct? Mm-hmm. And it ended up driving the price of the stock back in 2021, to about $200 a share.
Yeah, it's called Dumb Money, by the way, the movie that's coming out that's about this.
Okay. And so what it did apparently was all these investors, these wealthy investors and hedge funds that were betting short on GameStop were freaking out because, well, do I need to describe a short too? Oh, great. I'm thinking, well, so like selling a short, it's when you, and this will probably really expose how little I know about investing, but basically you borrow a share and immediately sell it. And then you're assuming that the price of that stock is going to go down. And so you sell it at a later date for that less price, thereby making the money in between. And it's extremely risky because, in theory, the price of a stock can go up to infinity, so your losses can be infinity. Whereas when you buy a normal stock, once it gets to zero, you're done. But on short sale, flip side, you can continue to lose money forever and ever and ever. And a lot of these people were losing their, their rear end, radio appropriate term there. And I remember at the time hearing some famous people that were involved in this, and one of them that came to mind, or not came to mind, but was brought up was Michael Jordan. And I remember at the time some of the numbers they were throwing around was that he was potentially losing up to $500 million on this. And I thought, there's no way. That's ridiculous. On one short sale. Regardless, fast forward a few years, Jordan's in the news again for selling his majority share of it was the Charlotte Bobcats. Now it's the Charlotte. I think it's back to the Charlotte Hornets. It was the New Orleans Bobcats. Then they moved to Charlotte. Anyways, and he stands to make like $3 billion. I'm like, wow, that's a ton because he bought the team for like $175 million a decade ago. Fast forward to this week, and I'm seeing rumors that he is selling the team because he's broke. And I thought, no way. There's no way Michael Jordan's broke, but then I remembered he was tied up in this short sale, and I just wonder if there's any truth to this all, because I don't think he's actually broke, and I don't think he lost $500 million in one short sale. He probably had multiple shorts, but interesting that these two things are kind of somewhat related and could be true, and that would be really crazy if...
Well, he's a known gambler.
He is a known gambler, but the amount of money that he has, there's no way he can lose it in
Well, then
gambling,
again,
right?
he's also older, and he's like, "Hey, I can sell this for $3 billion," and
Which he did.
and I have. Like, what does he care?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I mean,
not like he wants to make the team better.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
He just made money off
if you,
of it.
if as an owner, if you look at the history
Yeah.
of Charlotte's team, you're like, oh,
Yeah, they've never done
clearly
anything.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, clearly they haven't done virtually anything in the time of his ownership. But it is pretty crazy. But I don't think he's actually broke.
Well, I always wondered, like, especially a person like that, you know, he has the Air Jordan brand. I wonder if he gets a check of like at least once a year.
Oh yeah, probably
Like an actual
you get
cash
that
check.
mailbox money.
Yeah, he definitely
Yeah.
gets cash.
But it does go to show you though the power that some people on Reddit can have. Like this group of people can actually potentially, if this was actually the case of why he was forced to sell the team, what they can actually do.
Well, that whole thing on Reddit was it changed the game.
Yeah. I mean, I think
And
now
no
a
one
lot of
got-
hedge funds
no
are.
one got in trouble.
Right, well, no, of course not. Everybody
love
gets
it.
bailed out. Everybody gets a
love it.
bailout. Yeah, I imagine that these hedge funds are probably monitoring these sales of these stocks that they've sold short very, very closely. And what they end up doing now is they put a stop on the sale of them when they start going crazy because they know something's up, or they at least start investigating. Especially when you have these online trade companies like Robinhood
Yeah.
or something. You can just trade so easily.
that's
It's not
what
like you're getting on the
well, that's what
phone
I
and
always
calling
wondered.
somebody like back in the old days.
Like, there's two things that I connect with where it's like I don't fully understand. Is you have someone like a Elon Musk could tweet anything, and
Yeah, you can.
and you can shift markets for tweeting. You know, and I'm like, well, is that illegal? Is it not?
Yeah, it's borderline, isn't it?
Well, because like these guys on the internet all got together and are like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this stock. I think it's great." And it's just like that Jim Cramer guy on the television going, "Buy this stock." Same idea,
Kind of the same thing.
but
Well, Elon was kind of accused of
I mean,
promoting Dogecoin
yeah.
because hey, everybody needs to go buy Doge, and apparently he was heavily invested in it. You know, and then it goes back
I
up
mean-
and he sells some. It's like, well, that's kind of borderline illegal. or at
He'd
least
go
it
in
should
there,
be.
everyone buy Bud Light.
Yeah, everybody
see what
they
happens.
need some help these days.
Yeah, no, I wonder like what the real rules are with that kind of stuff because I mean, especially for someone like an Elon Musk directly tied to the companies that are public, it's like he could go out there and be like, "Hey, buy some Tesla," and
Yeah.
somebody will buy it because he just tweeted to go buy it.
Yeah, but I think that's a little different because he is the owner.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can short your own stock. Like, he could go on there and say bad words,
Oh,
and then be
wow.
like, "I'm like, oh, I don't like." He said some mean.
Yeah, because that would be a
things.
little harder to find. But if they did find out he was shorting his own company,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't-
but with the
I don't really
gains he
know.
would make on the short make up for the losses he's making on his own company, who knows?
Well, no, I'm saying
don't
he
think
would
it
put a
would.
lot of people out because
No,
he
he could.
can go on there and be like, "Oh, hey," because I always hear about the financial responsibilities to shareholders, and then it's just like
We have a lot here on AOO. It's
Yeah.
very, very stressful.
well, that's what we bought Twitter. Like, oh, they have to sell it as price because they don't. That's not in this like they have to do it for the shareholders because they want to make that money. Like you're legally obligated to sell because it's way above the price,
right.
and the shareholders will benefit from it. But then it's like it's just one of those weird worlds that if I was in it, I'd be a pirate, and I would steal everything, I would burn everything, I would have a great time with it. But then I'd probably be in jail.
Would you sell AOO to the highest bidder?
I would rent it out.
Ooh, there you go. Rent it. Short sale AOO.
No, I don't. That world doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. Speaking of Elon Musk, he seems like he comes up in every week. I don't know, but he is a
I mean, he's an
treasure
interesting
trove,
guy.
a treasure trove of information
look
and
at
not
like,
information,
look about this,
entertainment.
this MMA fight and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
Like, I bet MMA stock or whatever you want to call MMA in general went up
Yeah.
because you're like, oh, look at these two normal dudes gonna be doing MMA
Yeah.
or jiu-jitsu or whatever.
Yeah. So I've heard some crazy stuff about that actually, that his mom has been on Twitter tweeting, "This fight's not going to happen. You two boys need to settle this differently." This is supposedly his
was
mom
there-
is stepping
hold on,
in
let me-
saying,
let's
"Don't.
say-
This fight
let's-
is not going to
hey,
happen.
Let's take a step back.
Let's have a
Was
joke
there-
off."
No.
That's what she said.
Was there an actual beef between Zuckerberg and?
I mean, we talked
Because
about this a little bit
I thought
last
it came
week.
up to be like, because jiu-jitsu is more of a respectful competition.
Yeah, sure.
So like you can.
It's grappling style.
Yeah,
type
but it's not like
wrestling.
I'm gonna crush you.
No.
I thought-
I mean, you can get hurt, no doubt.
No,
but
I meant more of So when I think of MMA, I think of like boxing. Like this guy's going to destroy the other guy,
Right.
or they're going to try to destroy each other.
Knock each other
But in
out.
jiu-jitsu, it's more of like a mind game where you're wrestling and
Submission holds and things.
Yeah, I meant more of.
I don't know what type of fighting they're
did
agreeing to do.
Zuckerberg and Elon get mad at each other and like, hey, let's do this in the ring?
So, as we record today, I'm sure there'll be a lot more information that comes out of this by the time this show airs. But what I know about it today is they didn't really have a lot of beef other than Elon was running his mouth about. Well, I guess Zuckerberg was kind of throwing shade at Elon because he's going to start his own Twitter-like competition company. What is it? What did
We
you call it?
need more Twitter.
Yeah, because we need more social media. And then, of course, Elon being Elon has to reply back saying, hey, I challenge you to a cage fight.
For what though? Like, I'm not going to.
I don't, yeah, if I win, you can't open this. I don't know. I don't know
like
what it was. But it's odd that Mark has been, Mark, I call him Mark because, we're on first name basis.
You call them the Zucks?
The Zuck has been awfully quiet after he's just said, send me location. For the request, he's gone silent. So I don't know, but some stories have come
Can
out.
you imagine the montage they could film with them both training and like some talented editor can make it so inspirational, but then it's just like these two pale white guys. It's like training. It's like yes,
Yeah, man. Well, and his mom, like I said, has been getting onto Twitter saying, you two boys don't need to fight. You need to settle it some different way. You need to have a joke off. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, two guys that are practically incapable of humor
No,
getting into a joke off.
I don't think she meant joke. I think her autocorrect.
Yeah, it's never joke. It's never joke. It's never duck. Yeah. That would have been interesting as well. Oh, boy. Audience of one, everyone. But then I saw a story this morning of him training. He's out there training.
Well,
he being Elon. So I don't know if it's going to happen.
I like it. I think I just really like the idea of both of them working out. And
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, look, they're just two normal guys. They're going to be fighting in the ring.
But you do bring up an interesting point. What's it for? What does the winner get besides just bragging rights? Okay, I beat you, but yet you're still going to do your social media idea or whatever company. What did you call it? You gave the name of the company last week. I don't remember. What it was called.
/Meta.
Well, anyways, apparently, staying with this Elon Musk theme, there was an anonymous hacker that claims they've uncovered a hidden mode within Tesla vehicles equipped with the self-driving, option.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about this? And apparently, he is calling it the Elon mode. Okay. Now, it's not necessarily what it's actually called, but he hacks into the Tesla.
This gets me thinking. Mm-hmm. I can totally see a guy like that doing that.
A hacker?
Well, no, like an Elon going, you know what?
Oh, calling it.
No, not calling it. I meant more of, oh, we're doing this technology. Put that in my car.
Yeah, right, exactly. Why?
Put that in my car. Like, I want to, I bet he's like, I'll test it out. I'll just do it. And so, but he's like the only one in the world that has it. And be like, yeah, just.
Why would this capability even exist? And this Elon mode, of course, it's not actually called that, takes away all of the hands-free. Okay, so I guess when you have hands-free in your car, you still have to pay attention. It has some sort of eye detector when you're sitting in the seat that makes sure you're still paying attention.
Oh, you can put those glasses
on? It removes. Yeah, I don't.
With the eyeballs.
Yeah, there you go. The googly eyes.
Yeah.
Like the Groucho Marx mustache and
that
eyeballs. It removes all of that stuff, and so all the little nagging things about the autonomous driving experience go away, apparently, under this Elon mode. And of course, it's extremely dangerous because all those things are put there in place for protective measures, right? But this hacker found out, oh, looky here, I don't actually have to abide by all this. But interesting. Why would they even have it in the first place?
Yeah, I don't really like the idea of that Tesla being 100% computer.
It's weird.
Really weird.
Yeah, would you get into one of those cars if there was nobody in the passenger seat, or I'm sorry, in the driver's seat, and you're just sitting there watching the car drive? Man, that's got to be super weird.
I guess it depends on where I'm going.
Yeah, I mean,
like if it's like a 20-minute drive, sure, but if it's
how about from here to downtown Houston? Ooh. Yeah, you're going to an Astros game tonight, and you call
Houston
an Uber up.
Houston drivers are a little wild.
Yeah, and a carless or a driverless car pulls up, and the door just opens. Get in the car, Dick. I am your ride.
No, he had to sound like Short Round.
I'll let you do that impersonation. What does he sound like, Dick? Go ahead.
Dr. Jones. I love it.
Step in the car, Dr. Jones.
Or I love it.
Well, apparently there was a teen in a Tesla with his autopilot on that collided with a semi-truck. A semi-truck. I just said semi-truck. And he was actually charged with careless driving. I saw that last week too, which is pretty crazy. But that brings up some interesting points of who's going to be charged in these things if your autopilot slams into somebody's like, I didn't do it. It was the car. Go blame Elon. But he was actually charged with reckless driving. I guess if they prove that he wasn't following all the safety protocols, or maybe he was sitting in the passenger seat.
I mean, there's been so many cases of wrecks, so they know.
With his girlfriend.
Like, where was the car going? How fast was it going? Where did it hit the other car?
Yeah, but I mean, if it's driving itself, isn't it supposed to abide by all the rules?
They're not perfect.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they'd have to be perfect enough to the point where they're not going to be charged with reckless driving, I would think.
Well, it's kind of like that argument where if what is it, like the fault of the fault of a fender bender, where it's like if you hit somebody from behind, you're pretty much at fault at all times.
Correct.
Even if the person in front of you slams
on
their
brakes. Yep.
So it's kind of like the computer can't stop the car instantly, so you're still going to hit them.
It's a computer. I mean, come on. What's the point of having this thing?
I don't know.
Oh man! So, are you a big Taylor Swift fan? You look like you're an early work Taylor Swift fan.
I mean, she makes good music, but I'm not going to go to a concert.
No. Well, you may want to say
you look like you are because you have kids.
I would go to every single one of her concerts.
Without your kids?
No, I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. The family is, of course. I mean, her earlier stuff, I suppose, was all right.
Well, I mean,
new stuff
she's
all
been
kind of
around
sounds
for
the same.
It's good. So
it's fine. It's fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I'm not a hater. It's just her new stuff's all kind of sounding a little bit the same, but whatever.
I feel
it's
like
fine.
if I went to one of those concerts, I'd be overwhelmed.
Ah, well, you're onto something then. Why would you be overwhelmed, do you think?
Because just the screaming.
All the fans.
Like everybody, just
Fangirls.
Everybody.
How would you hear them over your own screaming, though? Taylor.
Of fear?
I
My
love
screaming
you.
of fear? It was like, where's my mother?
Tay-Tay. Well, it is overwhelming, apparently. And there's a new phenomenon that Taylor Swift fans are reporting amnesia following her new show called Eras. And I guess her tour name is called Eras.
Cool.
Yeah. So these people are paying all this money to go to her show.
Well, yeah, that makes sense that they're having like an emotional breakdown.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They go to these shows, and when they get home,
They black out.
They realize, I don't really remember a lot from the show.
That
This
happens
is
to
weird.
me when it's dollar beer night, but yeah, I get you.
Right. What happens at Dollar Beer Night?
You don't remember.
Oh, so anyways, they have basically people who are in these situations that are really emotional and have these sort of out-of-body experiences.
Okay.
And they enter like these dream-like states when they're in these shows, especially these people that are really big Taylor Swift fans. They're all kind of reporting amnesia. I'm sure this started on social where someone said, hey, man, I can't really remember the show from last night. Someone else chimes in and says, you know what, I can't really either. And it has nothing actually to do with Taylor Swift. More so the fact that you're just so emotionally overdriven when you're there that your brain kind of goes into this weird fog. You remember it in the moment, but afterwards you have no capability of recalling the show you just saw. It's kind of like what you do with this show. Every time. It's like a fresh slate every time.
There really has been times when I'm talking to Andrew and you're like, yeah, we've already talked about that.
Yeah, I say that off.
And I'm like,
yeah.
wait, we did? Like, yeah, we literally talked about that in the last show. Oh.
It was even better the second time around. It's all right. He really likes cigars, and he really likes to tell us that he smoked one indoors. Well, it was a life goal of yours.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, I had a bowling alley, not indoors. I smoked cigars indoors at places.
Ah, okay. Well, anyways, it's a real phenomenon, and it's bizarre, but...
I feel like you're doing a little FOMO of it now.
A little what?
Fear of missing out. FOMO.
Yeah, I know what fear, but why am I doing that now?
Because you want to black out at a Taylor Swift.
Oh, no. But that brings me to this really interesting phenomenon. I actually heard this on a radio show a couple of weeks ago now, and it's really, really fascinating. And maybe we'll find out if you suffer from this ailment. And this is called mind blindness.
Oh, okay, good.
And it's kind of...
I thought you were going to why it was so big.
No, we'll talk about that later. What did you call yourself last week? I don't even remember. The walrus or something? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
the tusk.
The tusk.
The desk.
The narwhal.
Yeah.
But no, apparently there is, and this is kind of related to the Taylor Swift amnesia, there is this phenomenon or condition known as aphantasia.
Okay.
But it's kind of loosely also called being mind blind. And most people don't know they suffer from this until someone starts to explain it to them, and then they're like, wait a minute. So let's do a little test here, because maybe you suffer from this. And apparently 4% of the population suffer from mind blindness. So I want you to think of a table, okay, in your mind. Think of a table. Now think of a ball sitting on top of that table. And now think of someone coming up and grabbing the ball right before it rolls off the table. Can you describe to me what the table looked like? What type of table? Color, etc.
Square, wood,
Okay. How about the ball?
red,
Okay. Just like a red bouncy ball, like maybe a
like a
kickball or something.
dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Yeah.
And the person?
You.
Yeah, okay. That's normally where I go, man, I don't really picture anything in the person. So I passed the test.
Well, first off, I will say that my ball wasn't rolling off the table
Yeah, someone just kind of came up there and palmed it.
because the table was perfectly balanced.
Like this one.
Yes.
Right, it stays
so
there.
I was like, when you said rolling off, I was like, no, that's not
my
my
ball.
thought.
My ball is perfectly
My table
stable.
is flat. And
Well, so it does not appear as though you have this condition, because people who suffer from aphantasia would not be capable of forming those thoughts in their brain.
okay.
And I kind of failed at the person. I had a table in my mind. I could describe it in the ball. I could describe it in the person. I'm like, I don't know. In my mind, they weren't they weren't wearing clothes, I guess. There was nothing that stood out to them. But I don't have this problem. But people who do cannot. They're capable. They're incapable of having thoughts of picturing in your head. So when someone says, "Oh man, imagine you're at the beach," they thought it was a figure of speech. They didn't realize that when someone said, "Oh man,
So what
imagine
do they
yourself on the
dream?
beach." Now you can dream.
Okay.
You do dream, but that's in your unconscious state. As soon as you wake up, you can't really recall dreams very well at all.
Okay.
And the two things are related. But they always thought things like that were, oh, I'd love to sit under a tree on a sunny day. They don't picture that in their mind. They think these are actual just sayings. And it's apparently kind of common. And so it does affect the way people, especially artistic people, draw. Because when you're an artist, you think of things in your mind and you can draw. And some people are like, wow, I've never been able to do that because I can't picture something in my brain.
So
I have to look at a picture.
At math.
I don't know about it. Math. I mean, what do you think of math problems when you're solving a math problem?
Yeah.
Do you count on your fingers too, Dick?
Depends. Yes.
Carry the one.
Yeah.
So apparently you don't suffer from this. That's good. I'm glad. But it is a pretty fascinating thing.
I feel
So
like you do these tests because we're at the end of the year. We're like, oh, Richard, we got to talk.
You don't think this is fascinating?
We're not going to record this episode. We have to talk.
This says, when I was 21 years old, I was sitting in a coffee shop with my best friend. She animatedly spoke about an article she had read on aphantasia and how she couldn't imagine what it would be like. Suddenly, I realized that I saw the world differently, too. I had always assumed that daydreaming, counting sheep, and picturing myself on a beach, like I had said, were all metaphors. She didn't think that they were actually calls for mental imagery. It's kind of fascinating, man.
Well, I mean, they're immune to being hypnotized, I guess.
Well, I think that's kind of all BS anyways, isn't it?
No.
No?
I bet there's some mind tricks you can do.
Yeah, I guess. Well, the thing with being hypnotized
Well,
is you won't ever do anything that you don't want to do, right? So, like, you
I have
can't
no
make
idea.
somebody when they're hypnotized.
Have you been to a Taylor Swift concert?
I have, but I don't remember it. I was so emotionally moved. I just don't remember it. No, but I think that's the thing with being hypnotized is when you quote unquote go under, you can't make someone, fall in love with somebody. You can't make them go murder somebody. They can't do that because they would, unless they otherwise would have. They're not going to. You still have to be within your own, set of capabilities that you would do when you were awake. At least that's the way it's been described to me. I don't know.
It sounds like it's not my problem.
Why? Why do you say that? You're not gonna go get hypnotized like at the county fair or something?
Well, if I met somebody with this condition, I'd mess with them the whole time.
Well, again, most of these people go their entire lives. They don't even know they have it. So I think it'd be difficult to mess with them. That's just, they've learned to deal with it.
All right. Oh, look, you're wearing a shirt that you probably tried on at a store.
Funny story. I bought this
It
New
says
Orleans,
New Orleans
French Quarter on it. That's exactly right. I actually asked the person in the store if they had a changing room, and they did not. So I bought this particular shirt without trying it on.
Going blind.
Mind blind shirt
just-
shopping.
Okay.
No, it's kind of cool. It's fascinating. Yes, no, I did not try this shirt on, but it does fit me quite well.
Okay. Well, interesting.
So are you going to eat fake meat?
Yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah?
I'll do
You know that's a new thing, right? Fake meat.
Like
lab.
tofu?
No. This is like actual lab-grown meat.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah,
Tell me, what do you know about it?
it's fake. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I know the thing I don't know about it is if it's the same protein.
It's supposed to be exactly molecular the same as the real thing, right? So
Okay.
they've used cells from like a chicken.
Man, Star Trek is getting closer and closer.
Telling you,
Can't
Ted
wait.
Kaczynski
I'm gonna
was right.
order my Earl Grey tea.
Wait, what?
That's what Picard
Okay,
liked. He always ordered.
did he?
Yeah.
No, this is actually using cells from the animal itself to
So they
grow
need
them
an
in a
animal.
lab.
So we have
originally to start with,
We
but
have
once
an
you start
animal locked
cultivating
up
it,
somewhere, just getting drained slowly.
I think you just take one, right? I
Yeah,
think
just one though.
you just start with one.
Yeah.
The same animal over and over and over again.
know.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's weird.
Joseph the cow is
So they're actually able to grow meat. Dick, how do you feel about growing meat?
I'm cool with it. Whatever, man.
So would you eat it? You wouldn't care?
No, I wouldn't care.
It is kind of weird, but I don't know that I would care or why I would care either. I mean, it makes me wonder if because apparently the USDA has just approved this, or the FDA has now approved this, so it's going to be on sale.
So what's
in
like
the
Beyond
US.
Meat and stuff? I thought that was the same thing.
Well, that's just fake meat. That's like imitation meat, where it's made with beans and
Okay, so it has-
vegetable.
okay.
It has no meat in it. This is actually meat, so it's still not vegetarian, but it's a no-kill, no slaughter, meat,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird. But if you think about it, people have been warning about overpopulation of planet for years and years, and that we're not going to have enough food to feed the future and blah, blah, blah. And part of some of these theories
Yeah.
against that are the world can only handle
No, we're
what it's
gonna
going
get
to
into
handle,
some
right?
fight at one
But
point.
not have to worry about it?
Yeah, Zuckerberg's gonna lose, and the whole world's gonna lose their mind.
Well, what I'm saying
And
is
they're
I
gonna
do
go to war. They're gonna go to war because Elon Musk won in a cage match.
Well, I do think it's interesting because I've always been under the assumption that the world can only sustain itself to its degree possible, right? It can only handle as many people as it can possibly handle in terms of what we can grow and the amount of water we have, et cetera, et cetera. But now if we found a way to buck the system and grow fake meat, that allows, societies that have had pressure on finding food,
I'd be more worried
suddenly
about
now they've got
water.
food. Yeah, water's a problem too. So it is going to be interesting to see if this really takes off, how this has an
No, we'll
effect
still
on...
kill each other somehow.
Oh, you know
it'd be
it.
great.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Self-driving cars. Everyone's just getting murdered.
Running into each other.
Yeah, people are walking on bridges.
Yeah. Last story. This one is especially for you, my friend. So we had the story a few weeks ago about what animals we thought Dick could beat up in a fight. And
Yeah.
I told you that I thought it was important because...
Turns out more than half the planet can kill me.
Absolutely, yeah. And I said it's important because if all the animals ganged up together and decided to take over, that they could. And I brought some stories of beavers that were suddenly going rampant and attacking people.
Orcas and
Orca, right.
Yeah, we're getting
Well,
there.
we're getting here.
My tusk.
It's already there, baby. A woman is dead after stepping on a pile of fire ants at her Georgia home, the family says. So she was attacked and eaten alive by fire ants. Telling you, man, it's happening. It's all happening.
Don't step on fire ants.
43-year-old woman at her own home.
She have a heart attack or something?
No, apparently she was allergic.
Oh, it's like a My Girl thing. Oh my gosh, who
Yep.
cares?
Well, it's still proving my point. If they wanted to, they could take over.
Did you know they
Because
made
they repeatedly inject venom.
Did you know they made a sequel to that movie?
How?
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, that is very weird. No, I did not know. My Girl too?
Yeah, I think it was. Let me look at it real quick.
Or is it You're Also My Girl? Because, I mean,
I don't know.
she died.
Yeah, they
right?
did. No, she didn't. The Macaulay Culkin character
he
died
dies.
from bee stings.
Okay. Yeah, I remember one of the little
But yeah,
kids died.
they had a legit sequel with like majority of the cast. And I was kind of like, huh. I wonder what they talked about.
Yeah.
Remember that time you killed your friend? I don't think she killed him. What was it? How did it end? Like, I just know he...
At the very end we died.
No,
right?
he was getting something like a Cracker Jack box ring or something for her that she lost. She like lost something.
Yeah, she felt guilty about his death.
She lost.
somehow. I
Yeah,
don't
she
remember.
lost something in the forest. He went to go get it,
Yeah.
and he somehow
She
dropped
wasn't
a
worth it.
beehive on
Whatever it
himself.
was, she wasn't worth it, man.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
Kids with glasses do stupid stuff. Boys
do.
with glasses.
They do.
But,
All right, man. That's all we got
yeah.
for this week.
Yeah, happy 4th.
Happy 4th, everybody. I
Be
hope
safe.
you. Yeah, well,
or 4th had already been done.
it had already been done by the
I
time.
hope it was the happiest.
I hope you guys had a great 4th.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's really it for the holidays until school starts. I guess.
Yeah. What is it? Memorial Day, right? No, Labor Day.
I guess
Labor
I
Day,
would
Labor Day.
count. I guess the next big holiday would be Halloween.
Oh, that's the best holiday.
Right?
Yeah. I
Wouldn't
love
you
Halloween.
say?
I love Halloween. No, but Labor Day, right?
But no
In
one
September?
like celebrates Labor Day.
Oh, I think everybody celebrates.
Well, you
Labor
know
Day.
what
It's
I
a
mean.
huge one.
You know what I mean? Like 4th of July is huge.
There's no decorations there.
Yeah,
Therefore,
there's
it's not a
like
real holiday.
There's not like a cartoon character we can.
Is that true? You're right.
Yeah.
That we can exploit and make money
It's
off
not
of.
a bunny.
All right.
There's not an old
Yeah.
man coming into your house eating your cookies.
The Labor Day bunny.
Yeah. What would be a good Labor Day?
A fat guy sitting on a couch
I don't know.
eating a cheeseburger.
Who's like the hardest working? Isn't that Labor Day's about? It's like taking
Taking
a break.
a day off. Yeah. The government
Oh, but
appreciates all your work.
Jesus-
We're going to give you 1 day off.
Too bad Jesus is already like on a bunch of holidays.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, he took off 3 days. Man, what a lucky bastard.
All right, Dick. It was fun. Until next week, buddy. I'm sure we'll have some
Yeah,
exciting
it was
more
good to see
stories.
you.
I know you're going to make a trip to the DMV, and I cannot wait
Yeah.
to hear DMV stories with
Oh
Dick.
yeah. Warning to everybody out there: if you lose your ID and you didn't take a picture of it, you have to go to the DMV. There's no way to order online. I was very disappointed in myself.
We'll hear more about
So
that next week.
scan your ID and keep it safe with your birth certificate and all your
Right.
delicate items.
You can have it tattooed on your forehead.
No, but yeah, you need to have that 26-digit number or whatever it is.
Yep.
All right, Andrew, audience 1. We'll see you next Wednesday,
Signing
10
off.
a.m.
Signing off.